Islam Makhachev's coach, Javier Mendez, just dropped some hot takes on a couple of MMA topics. First, he slammed Justin Gaethje, calling him stupid for trading punches with Max Holloway in the pocket. According to Mendez, the slugfest at the very last seconds of the fight may have been exciting for fans, but it wasn't smart fighting. He would have approached it differently, focusing on takedowns instead of trading shots. Mendez also weighed in on the GOAT debate, saying Jon Jones can't be considered the greatest of all time due to PED violations. For him, Khabib Nurmagomedov is the greatest of all time, while Jones is undeniably elite, but disqualified from the top spot because of cheating. Mendez pointed out that true sport relies on fair competition, highlighting that Olympic athletes stripped of medals for doping wouldn't be considered the best either. Islam Makhachev's manager reveals Kamaru Usman as frontrunner for next title shot. According to his manager, Usman Nurmagomedov, Kamaru is currently the favorite to receive the next title shot. While several other contenders arguably deserve a shot at the belt, Usman is emerging as the most likely matchup. Magomedov told Sport 24 that discussions are ongoing, and from their perspective, a fight with Usman would be one of the biggest and most compelling bouts in the division. He added that while the UFC has the final say, Islam is ready to defend, and that a clash with Kamaru would attract the most attention from fans. Despite the hype, much of the UFC fanbase isn't sold on the matchup, questioning whether it makes sense and expressing disinterest. Still, indications are that Makhachev has already begun ramping up training, recently posting videos on social media, suggesting he's mentally and physically preparing for a showdown with Usman. Jon Jones just dropped a bold statement, and it's got the MMA world paying attention. He openly admitted that he might be done with MMA, not because he can't compete anymore, but because he doesn't want to become that fighter who sticks around too long, wins some, loses some, and slowly fades out. In a recent appearance, Jones made it clear that for him, it's about timing, legacy, and walking away while everything still makes sense. Not chasing fights for the sake of it, not dragging out the end of the story, but leaving at the right moment on his own terms with his status intact. At the same time, the heavyweight division just took another serious hit. Reliable reporter Ruben Carter revealed that Tom Aspinall is scheduled for eye surgery next week with a potential recovery timeline of up to 8 months. The issue isn't minor either. It's tied to persistent double vision and a serious condition described as significant traumatic bilateral Brown's syndrome. That's not just a short layoff situation, that's a major medical setback that could sideline the heavyweight champ for most of the year. Jon also gave his thoughts on the current pound-for-pound king Islam Makhachev. Let's hear it.
Last time we spoke to you, you mentioned about Islam Makhachev and the GOAT list in terms of GOAT list, you know. After that, he dominantly scored a victory over Jake Della Maddalena. So after that one, where do you put him in the GOAT list?
I think Islam is definitely one of the greatest fighters of all time. He's one of the guys for sure.
Were you surprised that he dominated him?
No, I'm not surprised that he's dominating competition. He's a special athlete. I mean, some guys are just chosen to do great things, and I think he's one of those guys. I'm excited to watch the rest of his career. I think he has a lot of work to do, but he's on the right path, and he's just doing everything right. Yeah, he's one of the guys in the sports I respect very much.
Just weeks after UFC Qatar, Paddy Pimblett opened up about a run-in with Arman Tsarukyan and shared his thoughts on Ilia Topuria. On the rivalry front, Paddy admitted he now has more respect for Ilia as a fighter. Back when it started, he didn't even know him and thought he was just chasing clout. But over time, it's clear Ilia is a legit threat in the cage. Paddy showed respect for the Georgian champ, but when it came to Arman, he went all out. Let's dive in.
Obviously, I bumped into Ilia at one point. I don't even think it was him what said anything. I think it was one of his entourage. And then I don't think I bumped into Arman, but I seen him at one point getting a group picture, so I went like that behind it. But Arman's a tit, you know what I mean? Arman's an absolute idiot. Ilia's the man. Arman just talks a big game and he's shit. Arman's made his own bed, lad, he can lie in it. He dug his own grave, pulled out of a title fight the night before, punched a fan on his walkout, headbutted someone at a weigh-in. And he's beat Dan Hooker, who I like Dan Hooker, but he can't grapple to save his life.
Usman Nurmagomedov just reflected on his dominant title defense over Alfie Davis at PFL Dubai last night, and it was a pure statement performance. He retained his PFL lightweight championship with a technical submission, putting Davis to sleep after a completely one-sided fight. The win moves Usman to 21 wins with 0 losses and marks his first stoppage in almost 3 years. In his post-fight comments, Usman admitted he actually surprised himself with how fast everything felt inside the cage. He said the early pace felt unusually quick, Davis was moving well, well, hard to track, and it took some time to settle in and find clean openings. But once he secured position and got to the back, everything changed. The grip locked in, the control was tight, and the finish came fast. Exactly how he said it would before the fight. This win also hits different in the context of Khabib's recent comments about him. Just days ago, Khabib publicly said Usman is already on the same level as Ilia Topuria and Arman Tsarukyan, and maybe even higher, putting him directly in the elite tier of world-level lightweights. Each dominant defense pushes him closer to the UFC's top tier. Here's Alfie Davis's reaction to the loss.
Guys, I dared to be great, I got choked out. Shit. This is the life of elite competition, you know. Yeah, what can I say? I'm not hurt, I'm healthy everywhere. If you've ever been choked out, it's actually quite therapeutic. I think the best line come from Usman Makhachev at the end when I shook his hand. He went, "Hey brother, 1-1. So it is 1-1. Well done to Usman. Yeah, really tricky guy, man. Hard to hit. Really tricky on the floor. That choke, I thought I was fine in there. It didn't take long for him to squeeze and get the choke. I thought I was okay. I should have really moved more, but hindsight's 20/20. On to the next one. Thank you for all the support, guys.
Big news dropping today. UFC light heavyweight champ Pereira could be stepping into a grappling match against middleweight standout Shara Magomedov, with negotiations actively underway, according to Shara's manager Usman Nurmagomedov in a fresh interview. Shara, who has no submission wins on his record, has been filling downtime with high-level grappling bouts ever since his submission loss to Arman Tsarukyan last year. This would be another one outside the octagon. Two pure strikers forced to scrap on the ground in a submission-only rule set. It's a fascinating stylistic flip. Pereira's limited, but improving grappling versus Shara's aggressive athletic approach on the mat, despite his striking-first reputation. Rizvan noted they're waiting on a date for Shara's next UFC fight, ideally in the Middle East or elsewhere, because Shara can't compete in the US for several reasons, one of them being visa restrictions tied to his background, and these side matches keep him sharp. No event or date locked yet, but if it happens, expect it on a promotion like Hype FC or similar, potentially in Dubai or Abu Dhabi. This adds another layer to Pereira's busy 2026. He's teased heavyweight moves, but a grappling-only clash keeps him active without octagon risk. For fans, it's pure curiosity. Can Potan's athleticism translate to dominant ground control, or does Bullett's explosiveness lead to upsets? The negotiations are ongoing and heating up. That's it from MMA Psycho. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for daily MMA news.